Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Morehammer podcast, your fortnightly podcast where we talk all things Warhammer. And this week we've got lots to talk about. The Space Wolves, we've had some lovely new drops. We're excited to get into that, and we'll have some chat off of that as well for our main topic this week on what we think the next Primarch might be. So we'll have to have a little think about that one, a good chat about that. We've got a few community questions we might get to, and we have the return of How Much?
How much?
So we'll have a game. And as you can hear, I am wargamingluke, one of your three hosts as always this week. But we are also joined by Simon, our local psyker, Hobby Waffle. And we've got BN Bugslayer, which was Beyond... What was it? Beyond Beardson?
Beyond Beardson.
Yeah. Ben, a.k.a. 90% Geek. How are we doing, guys?
Very
Much
good,
better now
thank
that
you.
thing's out of the room.
Seriously,
Like that.
Before we started recording, we've just been watching Ben evict a pterodactyl out of his room. Or some sort of
AKA
tyrannid
The
flying
fourth
thing.
host.
Charge that thing rent.
The fourth host, the Daddy Longlegs, that's just been evicted from Ben's office, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm here in the meadery.
That's where you are this week. We have to question it because I swear every episode we do, it's like a different room.
Yeah, he's
No,
in another wing of the Ben
Yeah, well,
Tower.
no, this is an entirely
That's true.
different building. This is an entirely different building. No, this is apparently there was too much Benergy last week, and I could be heard upstairs through the floor. So I've been banished to the meadery this time to
That's
constrain my enthusiasm. If they can still hear me from in here, then there's something wrong.
That's
I'm still building orcs while we do this.
No, that's awesome. As always, guys, make sure that you are throwing a like on the podcast wherever you're listening, watching, so whether it's YouTube or over on Spotify, and subscribe to us, of course. Leave us some comments on YouTube as well. As I said, we'll answer some community questions this week, but if you want to leave us questions for the following episodes, you can do that, and you can also go onto our Discord channel, the Morehammer Discord channel, and the link will be in the description for that. Join us with chat and hobby updates and things like that in between episodes with our awesome community, and you can of course send us questions for community questions there as well, so get involved, guys. But otherwise, I think this week we'll dig straight into the news. Ben, what is it time for, I should say?
And now the news.
There we go. Double news. There isn't actually much else other than the massive Space Wolf reveal. There's a couple of the
It's
things we
pretty
can get
big
into.
news, though.
But that's what I mean. So like that's the main thing, really. So let's just throw up on screen. There was a sneaky little random Warhammer Underworlds drop for a new warband coming out. The Knives of the Crone, which are actually, I think, Dark Elves as opposed to Cainites technically.
I thought they were.
They're part of
Daughters of Cain.
Daughters of Cain, but the lore behind them anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so Daughters of Cain, or so they appear. In truth, the Knives of the Crone are followers of Morai Heg, the elven goddess of prophecy, dispatched on secret business by their indestructible patron.
Yeah,
There
I've got
you
to be
go,
honest,
that's the
these
new
didn't
warband.
really tickle my fancy.
Instructable or inscrutable?
Inscrutable, sorry.
They're instructable.
Missed that one.
patron. Now,
But
your
also
instructions
likely,
are-
but also likely instructable, hopefully. But yeah, like you said, Si, pretty straightforward models, nothing
They're nice.
special.
What,
Yeah.
the wings
Yeah,
are
they're
nice.
all right. It's just I looked at it and then went, "Oh, yeah, they're okay,"
Yeah.
and then that was it.
Yeah, so you got a mix in there. The one with the wings is pretty cool.
That's the one I
And,
didn't like. That one.
Okay.
Okay. And you got the
I like
like
the-
pikeman, and then
I like
crossbowman.
the guys with the crossbow, or the guy with the
He-
crossbow. I should
He's
say.
very cool, actually. He could easily be
Yeah.
added into some sort of skirmish warband for like another sort of like
Hmm.
Mordheim or something like that. I could easily see him as like
Yeah.
a dark elf. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's one. I mean, that's pretty much like I have no fast, and I used to be a massive Warhammer Underworlds fan in first edition, but this edition I'm just not a fan. But obviously the warbands and the models still could be used elsewhere. Very, very cool. Also possibly a sign as like how we've said before with these skirmish games, they seem to release before the oncoming like army releases, so it can sometimes give a good idea of what's to come for like the new battle tomes and codex releases. And obviously we had that one that everybody said might be Flesh Eater Courts, but also people have said maybe Daughters of Cain. which
Yeah, I thought
maybe
those
this is
came.
a sign of that to come.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, it's made me wonder whether that's the case now. And as always with a lot of the Age of Sigmar armies, Daughters of Cain could definitely do with some new minis. So if this is a sign of things to come, that not complaining. I'm not keen on her though. I'm not keen on the main model. There's something about her.
See, we're sticking with the no shoes theme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Someone's
What is,
at
what is it
at
with
least
Immortal
she's got
Realms?
2 feet without shoes, though. It's not like there's, someone's not nicked just one of them this time.
Yeah, it's good. He's somehow traversed the universe, the
Combo.
multiverses, and he's come over to Warhammer Underworlds now. But yeah,
Stealing their shoes.
and then you got some different, obviously, new cards and new decks and what that rival deck that comes with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it's good for Underworlds players if you've transitioned to the new version. There's more stuff coming out, which is cool. But
Still
yeah,
getting supported.
I didn't make the jump to the second edition, so it means nothing to me now.
No, it's the same with me.
I think the last Underworlds thing I bought was Beastgrave. So
Well, I got
context.
Nalwood for the Sons of Velmorn, but I just sold the box. So I've kept the Sons, but I sold the Nal Spirit Pack and the Nalwood box with all the cards and tokens still unpunched. Sold it on eBay.
If anybody's listening or watching on YouTube, comment down below and let us know what the pulse is on your local community. Is anybody
let us know what the
all
Underworld
interested in
score is.
Underworlds? Yeah, is anybody playing it at all still? Because I know I used to have nobody in Telford that really played, but I used to nip over to Shrewsbury, which is about I don't know, about half an hour away from me, to go and play with Underworlds people there. So I don't know if they're still playing it, but
Well, it was huge for a
doubt
while.
it. Oh yeah, it was very good for a while, and I think it just dragged. I think sort of around the Beastgrave time, a lot of people started to drop off more. I dropped off after that. Just got a bit samey, I think. And then obviously, like I say, with the new edition, I know quite a few people who haven't been keen on it, like myself.
It's that weird thing. I like the models, and I really liked the rules when it was Beastgrave. But of the 2 games, I'd much rather see more Warcry than more Underworlds at the moment, because Warcry is such a good system.
Yeah, which was possibly going to be the topic for this week, but maybe we'll push it back to next time.
Because there's a few other things to talk about this week.
Yeah, Space Wolves are big this week, but I would like to talk more about where Warcry is going at some point. That'd be a good discussion point. But moving on from Underworlds, the only other thing that I could remember that we'd got after going through articles from the last couple of weeks, other than the big Space Wolves announcement today, we had a Sunday preview for Death Guard and Khorne World Eaters that are coming, and we're getting the Battle Tomes cards, but also new Battle Forces and Combat Patrols, which is pretty cool. So I thought we'd have a quick peek at them, just see what we think.
Yeah.
I think the Poxrot Vector Battle Force.
We got the Combat Patrols as well, didn't we?
Yes, yeah. So we'll see them in a minute as well.
I
like
prefer the Death Guard Combat Patrol to the Battle Force. I actually think the Battle Force is...
So the Combat Patrol's just under, what's that again? Okay, so you got the Terminator.
Death Shrouds, the Noxious Spewer Dude, the Chartered Accountant, a Rhino, and a squad of Death Guard. I think that's a really nice
That's a really good
patrol.
Combat Patrol. Yeah, I actually think they're getting better with their Combat Patrols as well.
He did have a name, didn't he, in 8th edition? Was it Scribus Wretch or something like that?
Possibly. I know with a lot of the Nurgle
Taliman Banana.
Generically, I think, but yeah, that sounds about right. Give me a banana, yeah. But yeah,
no, I think I prefer the Combat Patrol actually to the
it's good
to the Battle Force. I don't like
the Battle Force feels a bit unbalanced. It's like it's one of the little lawnmowers. It's one of the hovercraft. It's I'd rather have one that had like 3 of the little nibbly, lawnmower Roomba things, or 3 of the blight droney things.
I see what you
rather than one of each. Because I don't think I'd ever run them in a unit of just one.
I still think there's a good mix in there though for a Battle Force, which is I like, because I don't like it when it's just a plain kind of pure infantry or something like that, which we'll get to in a minute. There are some like that. I think it's I prefer to have a bit of a mix in there, but I think both are quite good. But I agree, the Combat Patrol is definitely the better mix for starting out, for sure.
There's a spicy rumor about a new Rhino coming.
generic
Really?
Rhino? Or
They're redoing some track vehicles, is the rumor. Now, whether that means Land Raider or whether it means Rhino or whatever, I
It's
don't
the
know.
Predator. Surprise, surprise.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's funny how they just chucked a Rhino in the combat patrol. It's like, let's get rid of some old stock.
well, it wouldn't surprise me if because I know I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I reckon they might go back to, I think we've discussed this before, for the next edition of 40k. I think the Space Marines half might be more traditional Marines, so you get like new tactical Marines. Then that would make sense to go with a new Rhino, stuff like that. Wouldn't surprise me if that's when we got it.
Oh, you see, I think we're going to get some fast attack options.
Yeah, I mean, you could always do that as well. Rhinos technically have always been more that kind of thing anyway.
The plastic Danos Rhino that they did for Horus Heresy.
That's a lovely kit, that.
Yeah. Now, is that the current Rhino sprue plus a Heresy conversion sprue, or is that an entirely
No,
different
it's a
Rhino?
new kit.
So I wonder if perhaps they might take the Rhino back in that direction. Like if they've got the files for that, might they do the 40k version of that and take us back in that direction?
Could be.
Yeah,
We'll have
maybe.
to wait and see. It's another discussion point for the future, I'm sure. But then we got World Eaters as well, obviously Codex cards, and then the
All the
Gorestorm
infantry.
Slaughter Pack Battle Force.
This just doesn't say World Eaters to me. It says Corn, but it doesn't say World Eaters.
No. Is
Obviously
there actually any berserkers in there? No.
There's a distinct lack of World Eaters. Yeah, you get the 8-bound, don't you?
Yeah, but no, in terms of actual like core berserkers, there aren't any.
One thing we haven't touched on, by the way, the only way you can get all the new models in the Year of Chaos for these two is in these Battle Force boxes. This is the first place you can get them, which, yeah. So obviously we forgot to touch on, so the Battle Force for Death Guard, you get the new, what's he called?
Is it Lord of Poxes, is it?
Yeah, Lord of Poxes. And
That was
then
a
in
big
the
fan on his
Corn one,
back.
you get the Slaughterborn.
Yeah, he was the guy that leaked early, wasn't he?
He was, yes. Got accidentally sent to somebody in the post.
Yes. But yeah, you get Slaughterborn, and then what is it, the Cultists or whatever? Is it Cultists? I can't remember what their specific
Jackals?
name is.
Yeah, you get Jackals as well,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
that's it, yeah.
And Jackals are nice models, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's a little bit. The combat patrol, if you scroll down, you get Jackals, you get a Demon Prince, you get a Master of Executions.
Mm-hmm.
You get something that feels far more like a World Eaters box.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I'd say out of the four, their Battle Force is the worst for the World Eaters.
I think the World Eaters and the Death Guard Battle Forces are ones where, if this was Christmas and it was look at the four, big army days they release at Christmas.
It would make sense.
These would be the ones that are still on the shelves after Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally get what you mean. World Eaters dice as well, of course. And then Emperor's Children are getting a Combat Patrol box after they've gotten their releases now.
Which again is quite nice.
Yeah, decent mix.
You've got the Perfect Blades in there, haven't you? Is that the ones with the swords?
Flawless Blades, yeah.
Flawless Blades,
yes.
Yeah, here you are. So you get
and then you get the
Flawless Blades box.
A squad of Tormentors, or you can build them as
Infractors.
whatever the other one is. What is it?
Infractors. And you get the Carrots model, the Lord Exultant. So it's a really nice box, actually, in that regard.
That's a decent box, yeah.
And the Emperor's Children release is doing very nicely. We've got a lot of people on our Discord excited about it. Lots of people locally to me have been buying into them.
My buddy Sean today took delivery of, I think, 6 boxes of Flawless Blades for his Emperor's Children army. And it was like, that's going to be
my housemate Ash has just gone away to Italy, but he phoned me from the Colosseum in Rome to say, has my Emperor's Children box arrived? He's there with his missus looking at the Colosseum, and all he cares about is the new Emperor's Children getting it. Yeah, he definitely has. So there you go. That made me laugh.
Yeah. What's that, love? Pope's dead. No, never. Shut up a minute. I want to find out if the Emperor's Children's here.
Yeah. There's a very, very not. Well, I suppose it is religious, but in a very different sense of the word. For Warhammer 40,000 sense. But yeah, so that was the new sort of stuff we got for the Year of Chaos. And I'm going to keep iterating that it is the Year of Chaos.
I'm going to keep sarcastically driving that.
I am, yeah. I really am, yeah. Which, by the way,
not in the way you think.
Yeah. And then we're moving on, by the way, to So a lovely extension to the Space Wolves release that we've already announced at Adepticon. We now have more new models announced for Space Wolves than the Emperor's Children release.
Click the button.
That's official. So there we go. And we are indeed on some lovely new Space Wolves models.
Absolutely spot on for Logan Grimm now. That is
Gorgeous.
absolutely brilliant.
It's a lovely interpretation of the art as well.
Yeah. That is
No more
exactly
Santa's sleigh memes.
what anyone could hope for, hopefully, with Logan Grimm now. He's still got the classic bits of his design, like the wolf head on top of his armor with the arms trailing down, reminiscent of that old Wolfguard Terminator Sergeant. He's still got his wrist-mounted Stormbolter. He's still got the Axe Morkai, and he's
Still
accompanied by two wolves
Tinrak
now
and
as well.
Fenrir.
Yeah, epic. Love it.
Very cool.
Just looking, I'm sure that this is actually the cover of one of the Space Wolves books. No, I'm thinking of the Ragnar's Claws cover art, but it's close.
I think it's similar, but it's not. Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not quite the
Logan,
same.
is it?
This looks just like the guy who would be pissed at the Grey Knights for what happened at the First War of Armageddon in the Months of Shame. I saw a really cool little bit. Yeah, I saw a cool bit of lore today. So somebody said, "Oh, do we have any origins on how he got a wrist-mounted Stormbolter?" Because obviously we know about the Axe Morkai, how he's got that. But wouldn't it be cool if one of the Grey Knights that he leathered during the Months of Shame, you know, when it nearly all kicked off because of what the Imperium did to the Citizens of Armageddon, and he thought, I'm having that Stormbolter for my armor. That's a great idea. I'm having one of them.
Well, you got that. Even his like cape's got an awesome level of detail on the inside. Look, you can actually see. Looks awesome.
And adding the two wolves either side of him as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, superb.
Really
I'm buying this.
dripping in
100%.
Wicked.
This
awesome.
This will be a golden demon entrant by many people.
Oh god,
this'll. I'm sure this will be up there for our mini of the year, and especially for 40k, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, that up until perhaps we get an even bigger release for Space Wolves.
Yeah, possibly. Still, you never know. We'll have a discussion about that in a bit. Arjak Rockfist.
Arjak Rockfist.
I love the two poses you can build him with as well.
Yeah, there's actually a better picture of this on Instagram where he's photographed from a slightly different angle.
You can see it from the front, can't you?
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks brilliant. It's a worthy glow up of Arjak. It's really good. They've not gone.
For anybody who's only listening, like he's now got two poses you can make with him. So he's in like the defensive stance, or the one where he's throwing his hammer out like Thor, obviously, because that's the idea.
Yeah, if you didn't know, he can launch his hammer like Thor, and it teleports back to his hands via space magic. Very cool.
But yeah, I mean, I liked the old Arjak model anyway, but this is again just such a good improvement.
They've kept it faithful to him, haven't they?
Yeah, for sure. So awesome. And then we
he's back, and he's back in power armor. Get in there for us old hands. He's back in his power armor rather than Terminator armor.
With his half mechanical Raven or Crow, whatever
Cyber
it is.
Raven.
Cyber Raven, yeah.
But no, he's again just an awesome upgrade on the model. So cool.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Stamping his rune staff on the rocks at the bottom. Very, very cool.
You shall not pass.
No, it really is,
isn't there? Yeah, I was thinking that.
And there's the whole thing is where he stood there as well, and you can tell the wind's what direction the wind's blowing in. So that's how well they've done the artwork on this model. Design very, very cool. And
then Wolfguard Terminators.
Very, very cool as well.
Blessed is this day.
Are lovely. They really are.
And by the way, also multi-purpose, so you can make them as the assault or the standard, which is great.
Yeah, which means you got to buy 2 boxes.
Yep.
I am wondering.
These are really good. I just need to know that there's all helmet options, because I just love Wolfguard Terminators with helmets. I just think they look much better, because it just reminds me of the original ones, the metals.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to stop you from just using regular Terminator helmets, right?
Yeah, no, very true. As long as there's, for the Sergeant, there's one with a bionic eye on the helmet. I've got to give him that look.
I was wondering whether or not the updated codex will let them take Terminators in regular squads, like attached Wolfguard, like they used to. Because that was
Maybe.
always something that was really nice, was you'd have like a unit of Blood Claws or something, then a grim Terminator Wolfguard backing them up, trying to get them to behave themselves.
Mm.
Yeah, no, these are very cool. And if you look, some of them they're not overly done with the wolf bling as well.
I was
They're
gonna
at
say
the
that,
right
yeah.
level for someone who's reached
Wolfy
the wolf
Wolf,
guard.
Wolf.
Mm.
Brilliant. And
Yeah,
we've got a guy with an assault cannon, so happy days.
Yeah, that's always cool, right?
Wolf
But no,
guard Terminator with
they are
assault
awesome.
cannon. It's words that have to go together.
Yeah, and then you got the dual claw, frost
Yeah,
claws.
so you can
Is it
take
frost
claws
claws
as
or is
well.
it? Yeah. No, that's absolutely awesome. So I like that they're doing. I hope eventually we get that with standard Terminators as well. That it's one kit again, because they shouldn't have ever made it two separate kits. Really.
Calling it now, Wolf Scouts will be a kill team. I said that before.
Yeah, I think you're right on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there have been. I've heard that in a lot of places that we're likely to get Wolf Scouts somewhere.
Would make
For maybe the next kill team release.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's probably one of the only things that needs redoing, I guess. To
So
still see
what's
from them.
left now for Space Wolves? Because we've got Blood Claws, we've got Grey Hunters, we've got Niall, we've got Arjak, we've got Wolfguard Terminators, Ragnar, Logan Grimnar, Arjak Rockfist.
Well,
They
we've
reckon
already
that
had.
Lucas the Trickster might be going away.
Mm,
Again,
Yeah.
does come and go,
but
but that is somewhat fitting.
could they redo the Dreadnought, do you reckon, Bjorn? Would he get a Redemptor chassis, or would they just make a bigger Bjorn?
It's not like you can take Bjorn out of his existing sarcophagus and stick him into a new one.
No. So you'd have to have some sort of Redemptor shell that fit the original sarcophagus in it.
Yeah, and that they can unplug him from his existing life support and plug him back in again into a new one.
Yeah.
that'll just do a new model anyway.
I don't know whether or not perhaps they might get something like. I know they're a bit of a sore spot for some players, but I love Thunderwolves. I think actually they have the right level of silliness for 40k. Primary scale Thunderwolves would be really cool.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm not with you on that one, but I know they're very popular.
You're not keen
so
on them, yeah.
I can see it. What about Longfangs?
Oh, true. I mean,
That's true,
yeah. Because I suppose at the moment you've got the Devastator.
People
box,
are just
but then
painting
you've got
aggressors
much
as Longfangs,
smaller.
aren't they? Or
Yeah, but I mean,
the Desolation Squad, they don't really work as Longfangs, I don't think.
They don't.
I'm wondering, would we see a new Devastator kit at some point?
It's the only one they
Primarch
haven't replaced yet, isn't it? They haven't done
Pardon?
they haven't done the mixed heavy weapons squad yet, have they? It's one of the only ones they haven't replaced.
No, so I think they might
We've
be
got
quite
new
a ways
assault
down the road if that ever does come.
Again, they probably just won't address it, but what would be really nice would be if they went, okay, you could build a Longfang squad out of, and it could be equipped with, Hellblaster, plasma gun, and the Desolation Squad Nerf gun, and you could have a mixed squad of heavy weapons. That would be really cool.
Maybe they just sell like
cool.
an upgrade Screw kit. Could happen as well.
Just justify being able to buy. I'll have to buy, one of each of these squads so I can mix and match them in my Longfang squad. What a shame.
Iron Priest is the only other one I can think of.
Yeah, no, true. They could do with a new Iron Priest because they've got the upgraded Wolf Priest model already, haven't they? That got done last time round.
Yeah,
so we don't need another one of those.
Well, I'm on Ben's thing as well. I'm like most of the high fantasy stuff that ends up happening with 40k. I have no problem with it because I am more fluffy like that. I don't mind it, but it'd be cool to see new models. They look cool. Like I was one of the probably. I don't know if this is hot take or not, but I really didn't even mind like Logan on his sleigh. I think he looks cooler as he is now, like the newer model, but it didn't bother me.
The miniature that was stood on the sleigh was really cool. Great looking miniature. I just didn't like the actual sleigh itself.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see what maybe gets taken out or left in and what else might get new models. And obviously this was going to lead on to the conversation of course, the big man himself. Could we see Russ coming back? And do we think that would be the next Primarch, whether it's Chaos or
Armageddon?
Armageddon, yeah. Well, it's a possibility.
It would be one of those things. Okay, so it would be one of those things of we've had now all 4 of the main Chaos Primarchs released. Like, we're unlikely to get a Perturabo kit or, Lorgar's still hiding out, terrified of Korax outside his chamber door. So we're not likely to get kind of either of those Chaos Primarchs. So in terms of Chaos Primarchs, I think we're probably done.
Mm-hmm.
So now it becomes the question of, okay, so how many Loyalist Primarchs are we going to get? We've got 2. It would seem logical to give us 4. So we've got 4 on either side. That would be quite cool. I mean, there are obvious ones that can come back. Vulcan being a clear one.
Say Vulcan, yeah. We've got
Russ,
Salamanders as well this year.
I think Russ is a shoe-in.
Russ over Jagaiti Khan. No, Jagaiti Khan went chasing off after stuff into the webway. But of the 2 of them, Russ is far more fitting. Like, Space Wolves has been one of the main armies for Space Marines for so long. And he's even in the lore about, I will return my brothers for the wolf time.
Yeah, exactly. In whatever realm of death holds me for the final battle for the wolf time. The
Wolfen came back. The Eldar Phoenix Lords are getting gathered together for Ranadandra. If we aren't close, the entire galaxy got ripped in half. All 4 of the Chaos Primarchs are now, Demon Primarchs are now on, full marching orders across the galaxy. If it's not the wolf time now, when is it? Like, what else could possibly happen to count as the wolf time?
Just when I'm calling it. Just when everybody was happy with the new Space Wolves, with, like, as Si said, toning it down a bit, that's when they release Russ just as a pure wolf.
Wolf Russ, Wolf and Russ.
Yeah.
If they bring if they do Russ as Wolf, and I'm turning the table upside down, I'm telling you.
I told you I'd trigger him.
They could do it, and they could do that thing that they do with some of the kits, where they could do 2 models for him. They could do Russ basic, and then
well, who was that Forge World
Tribal
model
Rage Russ?
Who was the character that came? I was on Forge World for a while, and he was like, he was literally werewolf. Like, he could turn into werewolf in one form, and then the other model was just his standard one. I'm gonna have to find out what his name was now.
No idea.
Can you not remember?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find that now, because
there was a model that had 2 forms, and it could turn into a werewolf.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see.
But yeah, okay. So I mean, that would be quite cool if they did. Well, okay, let's ask you this then, Si. Would you flip the table still if they went, here is Russ dripping in all his armor with his big ass badass sword, ready to lay some smack down on the demons of the galaxy, and this is Russ beast mode when he literally just rips open his power armor, hulks out, and sprouts hair everywhere? Would you still flip the table?
I wouldn't tip the table over, but I'd sulk because he'd gone down that road.
You'd sulk for Werewolf Russ.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking that, like you say, Armageddon. How badass would it be to reveal him as Armageddon? Angeron invades Armageddon again. Everything's going absolutely to hell, and then another tear in reality opens.
Rift opens with the spear of Russ, and here he comes.
Well, I think a giant axe or something slices open reality. Everyone's like, "Oh God, what now?" And then this bloodthirster's head comes flying out, lands on the dust of the front of Angeron's feet, and Russ stalks out after it, ready to lay some smackdown. That would be really, really cool.
That would be pretty cool.
The only question is, he'd have to have some new armor, because on one of the great hunts they found Russ's armor, didn't they?
They've basically found all of Russ's kits at some point during one of the great hunts at this point. So if Russ is out there, then he's naked.
Yeah.
Which lends itself to beast mode Russ, just running around, hairy as all hell.
Give him ideas.
Anyway, okay,
Russ and Vulcan are definite possibilities. The Khan, like you say, he's still mooching around in the webway. Yeah, he's busy.
Korax is lurking outside Lorgar's bedroom.
Rogel Dawn, there's all this debate. Is like, did they find his skeleton? Did they find his hand? It's been retconned here. It's been retconned there. Is he dead? Is he not dead? Personally, I think Dawn should stay dead. I'm sorry, Sons of Dawn fans. I mean, I love Crimson Fist from the bottom of my heart, but I don't want Dawn to come back. I would say
I'd like to see Sanguinius come back.
You what?
I'd like to see Sanguinius come back.
Oh, you bloody heretic. No, he's dead. His sacrifice needs to remain a sacrifice.
But imagine how cool it would be if he comes back as like literally a full-on Imperial demon.
Well, yeah, they could do it that way, like some sort of living saint or
Yeah.
some manifestation of Sanguinius. I don't know. Basically, you're limited to Korax, Vulcan, Russ, and the Khan, aren't you?
Pretty much.
I would say, because you can't if they bring Ferrus Manus back with a robotic head, then that's just stupid.
No, because we know Ferrus Manus anyway. I think we know that he's been seen kind of like when they had.
His spirit was fighting in the webway, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. But they had him as like
Yeah.
Legion of the Damned, haven't they? I'd love them to do a Legion of the Damned army where you got Ferrus Manus as a giant, like Ghost Rider style, flaming skull.
I could live with that. That would be awesome.
That
Yeah.
would be absolutely amazing. I mean, if nothing else,
Like a
talking about
spectral
Golden
head.
Demon entries, that would be an amazing one. Get one of the Ferrus Manus
head,
models from Forge World and then just sculpt it with a flaming skull. Change the armor to have all kinds of skull. I'm talking myself into this. I may well want to do like Legion of the Damned Ferrus Manus for Golden Demon now, because that would be awesome.
Well,
they should bring back Rubenek of the Valedictors. You remember that rumor?
Oh no, go by
Rubenek.
No, I don't. What's that one?
It was in the Epic Space Marine. I think it was the second rule book.
Okay.
And he said Primarch Rubenek of the Valedictors chapter. It said.
Okay.
Obviously, it was just a throwaway line by Andy Chambers or Rick Priestley.
So it wasn't a real thing.
No.
Okay.
But anyone who's old enough and who's read that book will have got what I meant when I said Primarch Rubenek.
Show my ignorance there. I'm sorry. Did you find what you were looking for, Luke?
no, I'm either going crazy or I just can't. I can't remember what his name was. That's the problem.
Anybody who knows, let us know in the comments down below whether Luke's talking nonsense or if it's actually a thing.
I'm almost certain, but I can't find it. Maybe it was actually heresy at one point or something, but I doubt it for that style of kind of high fantasy. But somebody let me know. Tell me I'm not going crazy. Maybe it was just in my dreams.
You're not allowed to do that for 20 questions either. We don't know
what one I don't even know of. Yeah. No, I'll keep having a look later, maybe, see if I can find what I was on about. But it's interesting with the Primarch thing. We'll have to obviously wait and see. I mean, if we do get any more Space Force stuff,
as well, because there's all this big rumor of a second Space Marine Codex, isn't there, coming at the end of this edition? Yeah. And if that is the case, that would definitely lend itself to 11th edition being a tidy up of 10th. Otherwise, that codex would be immediately invalidated, and that would just be plain stupid. And we know they've done that before, but they're not going to do it for Space Marines, are they? No chance. Bless you.
Oh, sorry, my allergies are acting up tonight.
So yeah, there's supposedly new characters coming for the Salamanders, which is meant to be Forge Father, Vulcan, Hestan. There's meant to be some character on a bike for the White Scars. There's supposed to be a Terminator coming for the Iron Hands. And then for the Imperial Fist, they're all saying Darnath Lysander.
Ooh.
So
interesting. Primary Darnath Lysander, yes.
In big ass Assault Terminator armor, and then there's going to be new Assault Terminators.
Right, we're all waiting for the new Assault Terminator model. Those have got.
Well, I think Lysander is going to be leading the charge, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, gents, what would we fancy doing next? Would we like to do some of our hobby updates, or would you like to answer a couple of community questions?
I would suggest hobby update.
Yeah.
Community
we'll
questions, and then finish off with how much.
Yeah, I was going to end with how much anyway, so that works with me. So let's do some hobby updates then. BN, I've got your hobby update pictures up first. So
cool.
We'll go with that if you like. So let us know what you've been up to.
So first and foremost, here it is. It's a tiny epic Orc Dreadnought. This was so much fun to paint. I've got another 3 of these to paint that I dug out of a bits box. And yeah, they're just so much fun.
I like how you've done it as Goth Clan as well.
Well, also, if you recognise, it's the 2nd edition Orc Dreadnought colour scheme. So I looked very carefully at some pictures of 2nd edition Orc Dreadnought, and it's red arms, black claws, silver, pincers inside the claws, red gun barrels, little brass gun slits. Yeah,
that's cool, dude. I like
It's a tiny little gun. And the next one, I've got 3 more. I'm going to do one of them Bad Moon, one of them Evil Sun, and I don't know what the 4th one's going to be yet.
Very cool.
Then I have continued in an Orky vein. You'd almost think it was October. I've got all of my Squig Hog boys done now. So there's the Knob on a Smasher Squig. And the next one is, there we are. It's a... I've just had fun doing kind of the different pelts on this. I really kind of worked to keep
I was going to say, I really love how you've done them, dude. They give me very, like, Bone Splitters kind of feel, actually, from Sigmar as well. Like, that kind of more colourful tribal orc.
I thought about doing, like war paint and stuff on them on this, but I didn't want to take it too far towards... Because they're not actively
It kind of is, though,
orcs.
isn't it? In a way, it's almost like their war paint by wearing these different coloured, like...
but that's it. So, and kind of with the different colour schemes, if you switch to the next one, with the different colour schemes that I've done for the pelts, see if you recognise any of them.
The colour schemes for what? The pelts?
For the pelt.
As in, like, the colours... What do you mean? If recognise it?
Does it seem familiar from anywhere to you?
No.
No,
Just to say.
There is something familiar about it, but I can't put my finger on it. It's something
I've done the creatures
cartoony.
from Monsters Inc. Yeah, I've done the creatures from Monsters Inc.
Oh,
and
Sully.
pelts. So it's Sully, and the other one's one of the ones
That's
that gets
cool.
shaved, and I was having a bit of fun, just kind of like, what
like
bright
it.
colours will work? Oh, I'm going to do Monsters Inc.
I thought you meant something Warhammer related for orcs. I'm there like,
No, I knew it was something cartoony. I just couldn't put my finger on what it was.
I see. No, very cool. Very cool. I like it. And a really good job on those, mate, as well. They look really good.
Yeah, I did chuff with them. I really, really enjoyed kind of painting them, and there's just all the little kind of bits of detailing stuff you find on them.
And these are all going towards your multi-game, isn't it, for your Epic?
That's right, yeah. So the three game linked games, the Battlefleet Gothic, the Epic, and the 40k, 1,000 points of each.
Oh,
what I've tried
cool.
to do is make it so that all of the models that are in the 40k detachment are part of the models that are in the Epic army. So you kind of be able to point to the Epic army and go, that's this little bit here that's the 1,000 points of 40k. Albeit, they're like Boar Boys in Epic, not Squig Hog Riders. But, it's just a question of when you're really, really far away, you might imagine what you're seeing is a giant hairy pig. When you zoom in closer, what you see is actually it's a big red squig.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that.
Yes, and then you have Banana Man.
Yes, so this is a spoiler alert, I suppose, anyway, for anybody who is on Blue Sky. Andy Clark, not that one, the Nerdling herder, runs a Mini of the Month competition every month. This is my entry for Mini of the Month. This month it was roll a d12 on 2 different charts to get names for Space Marine chapters you might not otherwise see. And this is the Banana Skull chapter, which I've got off the idea of doing an entire army for. But I did quite enjoy painting him. And I thought...
Yeah, I was going to say, in the last podcast, you said you attempted to do one, didn't you?
I have got off doing an entire army of these because actually the blue was quite fiddly. It was quite fun to paint.
That's cool, dude.
Challenge, and there was only one way I could base him. Really, it had to be bright green, goblin green.
Banana ears, horns on the helmet, perfect.
Yes, the banana was a fearsome predator of ancient terror. 70 foot long, with teeth as long as your arm, and could split its prey clean in half. Thankfully, it's now extinct. But the banana skulls chapter...
been quite the theme in this podcast, actually.
Tallyman Banana.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's everything I sent you, isn't it?
Shout out as well, because I think was it Mobile Suit Gundad has joined you on that as well. I think he's done some. I can't remember what Space Cows. Yeah, that was another one I'd seen. Yeah, fair play. No, glad to see people getting involved with that. It's very cool. But no, good job on him, dude.
Silly little extra thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's it for you, Ben, isn't it?
I think that is all of my hobby update. I think I should go back to making orcs.
So I've got yours up next, bud. You back to Legion, I believe. Star Wars Legion, yeah?
No, it's Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Shatterpoint, sorry. I was getting mixed up, yeah.
So I've done the Snowtroopers and the Snowtrooper Lieutenant from the Maximum Firepower pack. So one of my only criticisms with Legion is there's only 4 different bases that come with all the miniatures, 4 different styles. So they've got like deck paneling from like the Death Star or a ship or whatever, and then there's some dirt. Like, obviously, you can paint the dirt any colour you want, but for a Snowtrooper, it just didn't look fitting. So I've gone over these with some Valhalla and Blizzard. So I've done the same Imperial Grey sort of deck plates, but then I've added the snow with Valhalla and Blizzard, and then just painted them up to try and match them as close to Empire Strikes Back as I can. So the dirty weathered duster and pouches, and then the grubby armour. But I had such good fun painting these. They're really,
Oh,
really
good job
good.
again, mate.
Looks
Really nice.
so cool, man. I mean, they really do.
I love the snow troopers anyway. Like they always look so cool. They were always my
Yeah,
favourite troopers.
painting his rank badge on his chest wasn't fun. I needed
I can't
my
imagine
super
it was.
duper glasses for that one. In fact, I need them most of the time now anyway. But yeah,
Nah,
no,
very good
they're
job.
really good fun to paint. I've got to do General Veers, and then I'm going to move on to the Shore Troopers and the Death Troopers in Krennic.
Nice.
Krennic is huge. There's some sort of mad production error there. He's like literally towering above everybody. He's mad.
That's cool. It's funny you say though about the bases because I remember with Marvel Crisis Protocol, and obviously that's done by Atomic Mass as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
same
both
style
the same
bases,
now,
but
aren't
they're
they?
just
Yeah.
got pavements and stuff on them bases, haven't they?
Yeah, and like you say, there's only like 4 variations for the same size base, so it gets a bit like
Yeah, there's 2 large bases for like groups of droids or whatever, and there's only 2 styles of them. So stones or deck plates, and then there's 4 of these standard size ones, and that's it. So
yeah.
I just wish they'd do at least just 4 more would be enough, but it is what it is. You can
I'm sure
customize
there's
them. You can
probably
add
actually some good
vegetation and
third-party
stuff.
options out there.
Oh
I'd
yeah, there
imagine.
is. On Etsy, there's
Yeah.
loads of different ones.
Yeah, or like 3D printable ones as well, I'm sure. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. Any other things from you, Si, or just the work on the Star Wars for now?
Just all I've been doing is Shatterpoint at the moment, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. These are the ones I've painted. I've built a load more. So I've got all the Shore Troopers, the Death Troopers, Krennic, and the Death Trooper Specialist built. And I've got Inferno Squad as well. So it's Iden Versio. You know the characters from the Battlefront 2 game?
I don't actually. After I looked at the,
I think so.
After our last session, when I went and basically stared longingly at some of the Shatterpoint miniatures, I ended up going and diving into the lore on her. I might actually, there's a couple of books that they're in. I might have to dig.
Yes, that's right. There is.
I know what she looks like.
But the campaign for Battlefront 2, if you've not played it, is absolutely spectacular. Really, really good. Starts off at the Battle of Endor as well, so it's pretty good.
Cool. It always looked good fun, so I might have to jump in at some point. And like we said, side before, very much into Andor at the moment that's out, so
yeah,
very much in a Star Wars mood.
But yeah, Shatterpoint, so at the minute is sort of my main focus. I mean, one of the things I like about it is I've just bought a new mission pack, and it's 9 cards, and it was £7 on Amazon because it was on offer.
Yeah, yeah.
To get new missions and new scenarios for 40k, you're looking at a campaign book for what, 30 quid, 40 quid?
Oh yeah, probably yeah.
They do them in White Dwarf every month, but
yes, this is true. They do, yeah.
But no, you're right. Yeah, it's a nice, easier because obviously Shatterpoint as well. It's minimal models as well. You know, model count.
That's right.
Easy to pack up and take to a club or whatever you're doing, or a mate's house. So yeah, it's good. Cheers, Si. I will go over my couple of things I've been up to then. So, my progress on the Ultramarines, because I'm trying to get them done for this coming Sunday, because I've got that campaign day I'm doing for Warhammer 40k, which I'll actually share on Discord at some point this next week. My friend Finn, who's running it, he's done a whole like lore and background for the sector that we're fighting in, because it's going to be Imperium Chaos, because obviously the current lore is the whole Nachman Gauntlet, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the Imperium are like setting up the line of defense up against the Chaos. He's basically done his own sort of sector within the Nachman Gauntlet that we're going to be fighting over, which he's done some really cool lore on it. So I'll have to share that. But I'm trying to get the Ultramarines finished painting them up, ready for the campaign day. I've got my Land Raider Redeemer on the way to being pretty much done there. Oh, no, that's fine. I've got it. Yeah, he's up. Came out not as good as I'd wanted it to. I'm trying to get used to the contrast paints with vehicles because it's a lot worse for.
Yeah, they don't really work on vehicles unless you airbrush them on.
Yeah, airbrush, but also you can add a bit of medium in there as well, and it does help. But I'm trying to find the right balance really. But it came out better on my Dreadnought, but on the Land Raider, it's not as good. But yeah, no, I'm still happy enough with him. And the weird thing is with the speed paints anyway. Even on like the vehicles and things, they do look a bit better from a distance anyway. So I'm more or less happy with how it's come out, and the decals are really cool on it as well. They've worked out nicely. So no, it's good to have him done. And I think I've only got a couple more, maybe a few units to do now. Funnily enough, you said about Devastator Squad. I'm just doing.
Oh yeah.
Just literally got them on the table at the minute. So for the Ultramarines, so that's them. And then in terms of gaming, I've only had the one game in. Shout out to Scott. I know he joined our Discord. He's just moved into a bit more local area to me, and he reached out on a local group and asked if anybody likes to play casual/narrative games locally. So I reached out to him and said, "Hey man, yeah, sure, let's have a game." So we organised it. I went around his place. He's got an awesome man shed with a great shout out to Scott's man shed. It was an awesome game, dude. Played his Alpha Legion, but loyalist. So they're one of the few regiments that still remain loyalist. So awesome looking kind of metallic paint themed force. So they looked awesome, and he did manage to win out in the end against my Nids, my hordes. So but it was a tight game. I think about turn 4, Alpha Legion started to run away with it. So, but the one awesome thing that did happen in the game, I think it came up to about turn 2, and I think you can see on the picture there, it had his, what are the combat dreadnoughts called? You got the Ballistas, which are the shooting ones. And then there's the
Brutalis.
Brutalis, that's it. Is Brutalis flanked by 2 units of the Pyre Blasters, which are obviously just perfect for flaming up my Nids. Right in the middle of the table on the middle objective, and then my my massive Reaper cannon at the back. I had a turn to try and get rid of the dreadnought off the middle to try and so it didn't ruin me, and I completely flunked everything. Couldn't get rid of any of it. And then in his next turn, when he obviously was about to move up and charge everything and ruin me, I went Overwatch with the Reaper cannon, which is obviously only 2 shots. I rolled 1-6. Then I had to get on a d6 damage. Well, I had to get through his save, got through his save, and then on a d6 plus 6 damage, I had to roll a 6 because he had 12 wounds. Of course, I rolled a 6. So I rolled a 6. He failed his save, rolled another 6. Boom, bye bye. Dreadnought went. So it was awesome. It was one of them awesome moments in a game. It was just a one-off, and it probably won't ever happen again. But it was
one of those
great.
Impossible roll moments.
Yeah, it was awesome. So even though I lost the game, I was more than happy because my Reaper cannon got the Overwatch off. So it was good fun.
Cool.
But no, awesome game. Thanks, Scott. And I'm sure we'll get another game in. But yes, I think we'll move on, guys. Would you like to do some questions? A couple of community questions?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's have a little look what we've got. These are off Reddit because I'd saved these from a couple of weeks back. So we'll start off with Maleficent Cheek 6404. What do you think would have happened if the Iron Warriors stayed loyal with the Imperial Fists? Would Chaos have even had a chance? I would like to hear your thoughts on this. There we go.
I think Chaos might have been a bit screwed, to be honest with you. However, having said that, at one point the Iron Warriors completely withdrew from the battle at the Imperial Palace, the Siege of Terror. No, but I think if the Iron Warriors had remained loyal, so that means they didn't take part in any of the traitor actions, so like the drop site massacre and stuff like that, if they remained loyal there, I think things would have gone a whole lot differently. You'd have still had Rogodorn and Perturabo at each other's throats all the time, saying, you know, my car's better than your car and all that sort of stuff.
My dad's bigger than your dad. Why?
Exactly.
It's the same dad.
Yeah, my wall's better this way and this, that, and the other. But yeah, no, I think Chaos would be screwed, to be perfectly honest with you, with those two legions loyal.
It's an interesting question because it begs, there's 2 stages to it, I think, which is it what would happen at the Emperor's Palace if the Iron Warriors had stayed loyal? Like, is it just what impact on that part of the kind of greater conflict would it have?
Would you have even got to that point in general as well? Like,
would the drop site massacres have actually gone so very differently if the Iron Warriors had been loyal and had been one of the legions that had been, you know, like ambushed at drop site? If the drop site massacre had to ambush 4 Primarchs and that included Perturabo, that's a very different question.
Yeah.
But no,
I think
cool one.
I think so. My 2 halfpence worth on this. I think if we take purely the Emperor's Palace and you have an Emperor's Palace that is then defended by both Rogel Dawn and Perturabo, there is no way you're getting in.
No,
is the
they're
short
the
version.
masters of,
You can
defense and siege.
throw. Well, that's it. You can throw whatever you want at it. You are not getting in, but certainly not by conventional means. I mean, an Alpha Legionnaire leaving a back door open or something, that is eminently possible. But at the end of the day, the Emperor's Palace never fell. Even with Perturabo laying siege to it, it didn't fall. What happened was the Emperor teleported up to Horus's battle barge to fight him. And that might have still happened. Even if Perturabo and Rogel Dawn had held the wall, I don't think it would have made a difference, because I think you'd still ended up with the Emperor and Sanguinius fighting on, against the engorged, chaos-powered Horus on the Vengeful Spirit, and I think it would have ended exactly the same way. Just perhaps, with greater amounts of hazard stripes painted on everything.
More warning.
Would we have even gotten there?
Would they have got there, though? That's the thing.
If Perturabo had remained loyal. Now, I suppose there's two ways to look at this. And I'm just going to throw in here as a quick plug, by the way, that I've actually done a couple of videos of a what if series, doing things like what if the Imperial Fists turned to chaos, what if the World Eaters had stayed loyal, that kind of thing. And I'm going to do a full Horus Heresy rundown at some point on that. But if we look at it again in two ways, if purely Perturabo had stayed loyal and nothing else had changed, then the first point of contact that it's going to make a difference is the drop site massacre. I think you'd still lose Ferrus Manus, because he's still going to throw himself in there, determined to bring vengeance against Fulgrim. But you probably would have had lesser losses amongst the remaining legions, because if nothing else, it was the kind of the bombardments by the Iron Warriors that took such a heavy toll on them. I mean, things like Vulcan, the first point that he disappears at that point is when he's basically the subject of a massed bombardment.
Yeah, even one of the other legions was complaining, weren't they, that they were getting bombed by the Iron Warriors, one of the traitor legions. They were buried, maybe. They said to the Iron Warriors, "You're shooting at us," and he says, "We're all dying today, brother," or something like that.
I think it's one of those things of
Stab yourself like a word bearer, we're all dying today, or something.
Istvan 5 would definitely have been more of a bloodbath for both sides. Like, I think you might have ended up with much more kind of weakened legions from the traitor side. But equally, I suppose you might have had just as many losses, because it might have just turned into the most bloodiest of all possible conflicts. Like, you might have had half the whole heresy fought on that one planet. I mean, to be honest, I can equally imagine Perturabo going, "I'm just going to take off and nuke the site from orbit. But, sir, the other Primarch's there." No, it is the most efficient way to resolve this. And actually, how's that for an alternative ending? Is, Horus isn't on Istvan 5 at that point, but Fulgrim, Mortarion, Angron, you could have lost half of them to just Perturabo going, "I can wipe out most of the traitors in a single shot." Boom! And blows the planet up. The wider question, I think, would be if you swap Perturabo to the side of the light and keep him and Rogel Dawn kind of doing stuff, which of the loyalist Primarchs do you switch to the other side to kind of put a counterflip on that? And I suppose the interesting one there would have been, what if, from the other side of things, what if Ferrus Manus had listened to Fulgrim? What if Fulgrim had successfully corrupted Ferrus Manus? And so actually the drop site massacre is the Iron Warriors, the Salamanders, and the Raven Guard being set upon by the Emperor's children, the Iron Hands. And at that point, to be honest, if you've had Ferrus Manus on the side of the traitors and the entire Iron Hands Legion on the side of the traitors, because they decide actually that Horus has it right, that the Emperor's weak, and that Horus is the way forward, I think that would swing a hell of a lot more for the traitors than having the Iron Warriors on their side was. Because the Iron Warriors, yes, they were great at siege warfare, but they were almost self-defeating at times in their nihilism. The Iron Hands are just a brutal weapon. So yeah, there you are. That's my thoughts on the matter.
Fair enough. As you guys know, lore-wise, I'm not going to be able to compete with you guys for all of that sort of stuff, so I'm happy to leave it at that. Yeah, basically. So
I think we've answered that one.
Yeah. So next we have from Samson's Girl, eBay feels a bit dead at the moment and the bioprotection fee is not helping. Where is everyone selling their stuff, if at all? Or alternatively, where are you picking up second-hand steals? So an
That's a good
interesting one.
question. Yeah, I mean, eBay's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of Facebook groups that are sort of selling amongst themselves now. You know, groups of people that are in the same sort of area. People buying stuff off each other in local groups. That seems to be getting bigger now.
That's what I was going to recommend.
We have Facebook Marketplace in general as well.
Yeah, and then there's Facebook Marketplace as well, which seems to be doing as well as ever at the minute. And then, just funnily enough, just tonight, my missus showed me something on Vinted. She said, "Look, there's Warhammer stuff on Vinted now." I thought it was just clothes.
Wow.
But
no, yeah.
People selling Warhammer stuff on Vinted as well.
And was it vintage Warhammer?
Not really. No, there was a second edition box set there, unpunched. Second edition 40k, unpunched. So I was like, "Oh, how much?" And she went,
"How much?
144 quid." I was like, "Oh, right, never mind." Got one on the shelf behind me.
Gonna say you got one. You don't need another one.
It's not unpunched, but it's complete.
Facebook marketplaces and just Facebook groups generally. There's actually I've got a load of my Old World stuff before Old World came back out when I was still kind of just doing 5th and 6th edition fantasy. I got some really great deals, and there's a really good kind of community, especially on some like the Middle Hammer and Old Hammer trading groups, where you can. It's almost like a swap shop. I've got this, and I don't want, but I want this. Okay, well I'll swap you that for that. I've done quite a few of those. Troll Trader, to give a free plug, but I've got a fair amount of stuff from Troll Trader, and I've sold a fair amount of stuff to Troll Trader.
I was going to say Troll Trader. I've never used
it,
but I know
never
a lot
sold
of people
anything
do.
to him, but I've got stuff from him.
Yeah.
I mainly do trade-ins. So again, if you send stuff, they'll send you a valuation of it, and if you get it for store credit, you get like 20% extra, as long as you do it as store credit, because then you can obviously spend all the money, give it back to them. But again, I've picked up a fair few Old World bits that way.
Yeah, no, those are again covered it there. Really, I sometimes still use eBay now and again, but only if I get the price I'd want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, a lot of these other places like Vinted, Gumtree, I think's another one. They do them, check them out. But like Si said, primarily a lot of those bits on Facebook nowadays. If you can get away with it.
I mainly use eBay after we've played an episode of How Much, and I end up buying something.
That's what it ends up being, which we'll be onto in just a moment. Also, I've remembered the name of the guy. It's Bran Redmore. For
did they have a model?
I remember Bran Redmore. He was holding the axe over his shoulder. But
so what it was?
He never got released.
What it was? There was a model you could buy that was an alternative to him, but you could also. Do you remember the flesh? The Lycan
Bran
models
Redmore was on display at Games Day, but he never got released.
That's what it was. That I thought. For some reason, I thought he actually had a Forge World model, but it was never. That's where I've seen it. It wasn't
he never got released because I wanted that. I remember seeing it in the display case.
Yeah.
He never got released.
How awesome would it be if he got released as part of the Space Wolves?
Oh yeah, that's what was on my mind though, and a lot of people used the old Lycan models you could get for Chaos. For like
they've re-released them, the Flesh Hounds, Flesh Wolves.
Yeah, people used to use that as the Redmore because he had rules. You could use him, but like there were no, like you say, there were no official models. But
he's in one of the Imperial Armor books, I think, if I recall correctly.
What a lovely model!
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and that's exactly where he was. Yeah, so you could turn him into the Redmore, which people used. They basically suggested you buy one of the Flesh Wolves as him in that form, and then I think it was like a weird version of like either Lucas the Trickster or someone like that's model to use as the other half. But no, that's who I was thinking of. That was a hell of a callback.
That's a brilliant callback. He's a lovely model as well.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely remember Bran Redmore, but I don't remember anything about the Wolfen side.
No official model, no. But no, you could change. It's really cool. But no, we'll do one last question before we go on to our game. So Willow Weeper 343 says, I've just listened to Wes Hammer's reading of King of Pigs, and it might just be one of the best horror stories I've ever read, and my favourite depiction of chaos I've ever seen. Now I'm in the mood for more creepy stories. Do you guys have any good recommendations for more Warhammer horror books or stories?
Unfortunately not. Sorry, that's not my. I've never read any of the Warhammer horror ones, so I'm unable to offer any advice.
Ben, you're the more likely maybe to be able to make one, but
I've read kind of the Warhammer crime stuff, but I've not actually forayed particularly into the Warhammer horror. maybe
No,
it's
no,
something I should
no.
try. I'm trying to think in terms of some of the older books that perhaps came out before there was the horror publication. Before there was like specifically the horror line.
I'm sure if you
Just
gave it
watch
a
some
search,
previous
you'd find
episodes of
some.
the podcast because we had some horror 20 question
did.
games that we only just got away with.
Yeah, yeah. But no,
But yeah,
I'm sure if
unfortunately,
you
can't
searched,
help there.
there'd be some great suggestions out there. But yeah, unfortunately, not from us. I'm afraid I'm not much, like I say, of the lore guy for reading the books and whatnot. So I can't think really of anything that would be of use. I know some of the earlier Age of Sigmar stories. You had a lot of like the Nagash stuff was quite cool. Maybe somewhere in there you might be able to find something, but yeah.
There's one of the ghost novels that's got a real kind of horror story vibe to it. It's the one where they're in the city, kind of at the castle at the end of the world type thing. Armor of Contempt.
Okay.
Is it the one? I think so. Armor of Contempt.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it Armor
there
of
you
Contempt
go.
or is it Only in Death? Maybe it's Only in Death.
Also, I suppose the thing to shout out is we do also have like on the Discord channel if you want to join, my friend.
Only in Death.
Oh, there you go. We have like I think we have a book section, don't we, for Black
We
Library
have a
on the
book club
Discord.
section on there, yeah.
Yeah, so jump in there. I'm sure some of the community will suggest stuff for you, maybe, and obviously in the comments on the video. But guys, we'll leave the questions for there this week. If you want to send in your own, like I say, guys, there's a section on the Discord. Send us in your questions for the next episode. We'll get them answered for you. And over on Reddit, I'm always getting some over there as well. But we'll jump into a game of
How much?
I was going to say, whereabouts on Reddit is the Morehammer section? Because I've had a look and I couldn't find
Not
it.
Morehammer, it's just the Warhammer page. So I go on there and sometimes I'll ask if people want to ask any questions or anything. So it's quite handy for that. So if anybody wants to join the general Warhammer Reddit, it's quite cool for
Subreddit, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll go on to the game of how much. I have. It's been a while actually since we played this, and we may have new people that have joined us. So I'll quickly explain what it is. Basically, we find out of print, usually listings on eBay for Warhammer or adjacent stuff. It can be old miniature boxes, it could be single miniatures, it could be blisters, whatever. It could be books or anything adjacent, as I say. And we each take it in turns. We have two each. To try and guess each other's listing, if you like, and how much, of course, they are listed for. And then we'll get a point if we get it right. We won't if we don't. And whoever has the most points at the end wins.
I say whoever, see, they're the two guess, and whichever one comes closest gets the point, don't they?
Best way to put it as well, yeah. But you'll soon find out how it goes. And we'll try to describe as best for the listeners we've got who aren't actually watching what we're obviously trying to decipher here. So I do have one of my own ones up first, so I'll go with my first one if that's all good.
Go for it.
And my first one is a Warhammer Armies for Warhammer Fantasy Battle 3rd edition Fantasy Battle hardback source book. This is from 1988. It is used. It's got a bit of tuft on the corners, but other than that, the pages and everything all in good condition. So I would say, what do you guys think with this one?
You are above me. Do you want to go first?
And this isn't including postage and packaging.
No.
This is
I
just as
think
is.
the fantasy stuff's quite well sought after, so even though it's used, I reckon that's going to be at least, I'm going to go 80 quid.
£80 from Simon.
Yeah.
So you went first on that one. What about Bien? What's your guess?
It does look like it's in good condition. I mean, there's a little bit of damage on the bottom right corner, it looks like.
That's what I was saying, yeah. It's a bit tufty on the corners.
Well, it looks like the cover's a little scuffed or something as well on the bottom right corner. And although it is a classic, it is not as popular as some of the editions that came after 3rd edition. So 4th and 5th are often more sought after than 3rd. I'm going to try and hedge slightly out. I'm going to go 60.
Okay. So £60 from Ben, and you said 80, didn't you, Si? Yeah?
I did.
So despite a little bit of damage to this book, it is in fact higher than both of your guesses.
Oh, wow.
£110. Buy it now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Point for Sai.
I haven't searched. I just happened to find this one. I haven't searched how much it would actually be for a new sealed one. So that's interesting.
If you could even get your hands on one, like new, I don't know if it came like
Yeah,
shrink wrapped or anything back then. I think
Yeah,
they not have
very
even
true.
done shrink wrap.
Yeah, that's true. So so first point goes to Sai, who was closest. And on the next one, whose do I have up next? We have up Sai's first one. So it'll be between me and Ben on this one. And it is this side, so that's what we're looking at here.
So this is one of the expansions to Blackstone Fortress, which all of them sold out immediately. They didn't make enough of them, and then the price of them afterwards was astronomical. Some of them, you only got one miniature or two miniatures. Some of them you got a handful, and then there was the Zoat as well. So this one is a Plague Marine, so 2 Plague Marines and 2 Poxwalkers. Then obviously the cards and expansions that you need to play the game. There is a different picture. You've got it there. So there's some tokens, there's some cards, and some scenarios. 2 Plague Marines, 2 Poxwalkers, and they're not unique Marines. The ones that you can get.
No, they were the push fit ones, weren't they?
Elsewhere, yeah,
like the easy to build ones.
So this is what. So obviously these expansions are usually going for a bit on eBay, but how much do you think this one's going for? Bear in mind the game was what, 95 quid, 85 quid or something like that, Blackstone Fortress.
Something like that, yeah.
And the expansions RRP I think were 35 or 40 quid.
So Ben, if you go first on this one, because then it'll be between me and Sai on the next one, so I'll go first on that.
I think again I'm going to go 60 quid. I know 60. That they sold out instantly, but
they sold out instantly and then they went silly on eBay.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm lowballing it. Hang on a minute. I was thinking that the models themselves are not exciting, but it's not really people who are after the models.
The people after the models.
The rules and the cards and so forth that are in there. Okay, I'm going to go 150.
I think possibly even higher than that. I'm gonna go with 200, but to be honest, it could be higher.
200.
Well, puts that for misery.
This one is on eBay for £669.70. What's postage?
That is never going to sell in a million years.
I knew they were a lot, but I didn't know they were that much. That's mad. Because, like you say, they really didn't produce many of them.
No, and they're still quite popular on eBay, but that's just astronomically stupid.
No, that is silly money.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I guess I
even
get the
though Luke
point
was
for being
miles away,
closest.
that's the point to Luke.
Yeah, you were the closest to that ludicrous figure there, Luke.
Yeah.
60. If I think I add an extra 0 at the end of my initial guess.
I know, yeah. All right, so 1 point to me, 1 point to Sai so far. And Ben, it's your. You can't get points here either. It's your. It's your first.
Lose this one.
Item, which originally was £10.
Located when I was looking for paint schemes for my little mini dreadnought.
This is rather fitting, isn't it?
It's cool. I like it.
Well, I came across it when I was looking for the paint schemes for the little mini dreadnought. This is a mint inbox, still sealed in its shrink wrap, still has the original price sticker on it. £10 price sticker on it. And actually, given it's got 2 stickers on it, it looks like it might have been marked down at some point.
Very possibly, yeah.
This is the metal Orc Dreadnought from 2nd edition 40k. Comes complete with paper banner and a transfer sheet in there as well. This is the classic dustbin with the 2 crab claws, a couple of auto cannons, and some nice.
Yeah, you got a card version of this in the 2nd edition.
I'll have to be first on this one site.
This is someone had already got it in their basket. I haven't actually checked to see if it's been bought yet. I might check that in a minute.
And 2nd edition stuff is popular.
Mint in box stuff is popular as well. There's some people who actually collect it specifically just to keep it in the box, which baffles me.
I always find it hard to judge these ones for price. I'm gonna go just times 10 it. I'm gonna go 100.
100 quid is bid by Luke. Sai, what do you think?
I don't think he's far off with that, to be honest. I think it might be a little bit higher because it's sealed. And like you said, the 2nd edition box stuff It's having the box, having the polystyrene tray, and having everything still in there. And it is sealed, isn't it? It's hard to tell
It
from
is
the
still
picture.
sealed
Yeah.
in its shrink wrap.
Looks like it, yeah.
I looked in the other photos. It is still sealed in its shrink wrap.
I'm
How
going to
much are
say
you going?
125.
Ooh,
So you get
staying
25
closer.
more than Luke.
Yeah.
I can reveal it is for sale for actually I think quite a reasonable price of £167
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. We were both not
I
far
thought
off,
I'd gone
Si.
high with that.
So you are closest, Si. So it's another point for
2
you.
points for Si. Has it been bought yet? No, it's still in someone's basket at the moment.
Okay, we'll move swiftly then on to Ben. To see if you can get on the scoreboard here with
Try
my
and get some points.
my second item, and it is Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard box set from 1989.
Wow.
Rare, out of print.
This is gorgeous.
And just so we can kind of say what originally was in this on the back here. So
It's sealed as well.
yeah, sealed and everything.
I got my hands on it. It wouldn't be for long.
No. Actually, it doesn't. I don't think it says on the back of this one what's actually in there. But it's something like 60 odd models. I think it said in there, or something like that.
Yeah, it was the Arcadian
plastic.
Spider Regiment, weren't it?
Yeah.
Necromunda spiders. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things, because I did do the orc box of one of these a while back actually, but it's quite cool. There was another image on this listing of like on the back of the box it showed the other ones you could pick up from the different factions. It was so nostalgic. So cool. But yeah, guys, I think Si, you were first on this, so
Yeah,
what do you think for this?
Me?
Yeah, you're first.
Oh,
guess.
sorry, I thought you were waiting for Ben.
No.
It's not going to be cheap. It's Rogue Trader stuff. I've seen a box of Harlequins on eBay when I was looking for some of this other stuff, and that was half what you would get. I'm going to go high, 450.
450.
Yeah.
Bien.
I don't think he's far off. I'm going to go. Chance it. Go 500.
500. The closest is Ben. You're £1
Yay!
out, Ben.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
£1 out.
400. Well, sorry, 1 pence out technically because it's 499.99. Yeah.
Oh, only I got the extra penny in there. If I got that,
Yeah. And that one includes postage technically as well. So if you want to include postage as well, that's probably one of the closest to.
Bargain.
So Ben is on the scoreboard. He has a point. Si, your second choice. We've got 2 left to go and this is the last one you can score a point on, Ben. And you are up first, Ben, for guessing as well. But Si, take us through what we're looking at.
I'll just get the picture on with the original
It's a
price.
green screen.
So this is one of Forge World's early orc creations, a grot bomb, basically. It's just like a bomb piloted by a little Gretchen. And Forge World made, I don't know how many they made, to be honest. I think this only lasted till, 2003 or something like that, 2004.
It was so useless. It really was.
Yeah, and then it disappeared, and you got stuff like the Orc War Boss on the bike and stuff like that, and the guy with poking at the top of the dreadnought. But yeah, it's a fun miniature, but like Ben says, it's probably pretty useless on the tabletop. It's a one bang and then it's done. So how much do you think this is worth?
I'm up first on this.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, sorry, Ben. Yeah, you're first, aren't you?
Look at the size of the Gretchen pilot. I'll give you an indication of how big it is as well.
Yeah.
It is a classic, and they didn't make many of them, I don't think, because back then Forge World was fairly...
it is ultra rare, as it says.
I am going to go £499.99.
You're actually going for that, are you? Yeah.
Yes, why not?
You've gone higher than I would have gone. But yeah, old stuff is... But like old Forge World that's this sort of era is very sought after. I'm gonna go lower than you did, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. Let's go 400. So Si, who is closest?
400 and Ben went what?
He went the same as his last guess.
199.99. I went a penny less than my last guess.
Yeah, true.
Only $4.99.99.
Ben is closest, just. It's on
Oh,
£450 and 42 pence.
oh no! Oh god, that was
With
close.
£4.45 postage. So
Okay,
Wow.
Ben's just closest.
Okay,
I'll take it.
fair enough. Fair enough. So Ben, another point for you. So
2
points
points
to you now.
So-
you're on 2, and I'm on a point. Which
So if-
technically I could draw you guys because
You could get a draw or Sai wins. It's all up to Sai whether Sai wins.
And I've got to guess first now as well. So
You do. Talking about out of production Forge World stuff, it is the Forge World Warhound Titan, the out of production Lucius Jackal pattern. This was the boxy squared off version, which I prefer this to the rounded shell ones on it. They sell at the moment. I know that the rounded shell one has a lot of fans because it is more akin to the original classic plastic warhounds that they sold way back when like Adeptus Titanicus came out. But I do like this boxy flat topped style of warhound, and this was one that if I'd had the money I would have gladly bought myself back in the day. It is painted, it is assembled, it is
Expensive.
look at the description. Quite expensive, maybe. It's all the interior details been painted.
wow.
I can't remember. I think Sai went first last time. So Luke, I think you're first.
Yeah,
this
it's
time.
me first. Yeah.
How much?
I couldn't care less for stuff like Titans and Imperial Knights, so I have no idea for the ballpark here. But I know Titans are very expensive. Just how expensive, though, I don't know, and especially when they're out of print like this. I'd like to say that this would usually be hundreds, but if it's out of print, getting into the thousands. But I have no idea.
Come on,
I'm
you
gonna
can
go.
take this away.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Let's just go bang on 1,000.
You're going exactly on the nose. £1,000.
Actually, Ben, I'm gonna go £999.99.
Okay, $999.99, and we'll throw it in the blender for free.
I don't know if Sai's got a better idea than me, so.
Sai, what do you think?
I think it's more expensive than that. What's he going for?
$999.99.
No, 1,400 quid.
I didn't
$1,400.
go too much more though.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether 1,500 or 1,400.
Okay. Ben, reveal.
The reason I've said that is because the last time I saw one of these sold on eBay, it was about 750 quid. So I figured I'd just double it because
Yeah,
it's painted.
okay, fair.
Sai, you win this round. It is £1,351.86.
Considering I don't really know about them, I thought that was an alright guess then, really, to be fair.
That was a jammy
Not good
guess.
enough, but... Yeah,
Sai
that was
with
well
3
done, Sai.
points, you win this week's game.
You do indeed. Sai, I know you had an additional fun one.
Redemption, I lost the last one. Oh, yeah, we've got a
as well.
bonus one. This is just insane.
So this doesn't go towards points. Sai won, Ben second, me last, but...
Let me
Here's how much
find
this
the
one is.
eBay,
Well, anyway.
let me find the eBay description. Just 1 second. So this is basically Rogue Trader Gene Stealer Hybrid, some sort of mounted character. So you only get half the body.
hence why
Rogue
you've
Trader
done this.
Gene Stealer Hybrid 10 mounted Warhammer, very rare. It seems these figures were created around 1990. They appear to have been originated by converting some of the Gene Stealer hybrids sculpted by Bob Ollie, adding Imperial Guard Rough Rider legs, and then standard plastic horse, none of which you can see are included, by the way. They were sold individually in blister packs and were also available in hard plastic
God.
regiment packs containing 4 mounted hybrids. It seems they were only available for a short time and never in the catalogues.
Wow.
So this is just
Okay.
one mounted body, and I'm sure this has got to be a mistake.
Oh, what, the price?
Yeah,
Okay,
or somebody's just got drunk one night and
For
put
a
it on for a
torso.
laugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess £40,000.
Jesus Christ!
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna divide a bit there by the tens there, Ben, and maybe go 4,000. But I mean, it's still a lot.
Oh, 4,000 for Luke, 40 grand for Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Ben, have you seen this before?
No, I was just thought 40k, so therefore 40k would be a funny price to put it
I'll
listed
show you
at.
the price on the screen just for maximum effect.
Is it 40,000?
£40,386.
I think realistically, Ben should get bonus points for that.
£40,386. So
Just
this,
like that,
pretty
it's a
whoever's
draw
selling this
between
lives on
me
the
and
I think
moon,
that's a bit of a
or
joke one.
that's in like bloody rupees or something.
Yeah, no, I think somebody's done a bit of a joke there, aren't they? Like,
Yeah, well, hang on.
Warhammer
I'm
40k.
going to look up now. Miniature Madness. Do they have anything else like?
No, I checked his other items. There's nothing else astronomical. It's just that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is that rare that it is worth a lot of money, but I'm sure it's not
It's
really
not
worth
worth
that
40
much.
grand, is it?
No, but I'm sure they are very rare. Well, it's so weird. It's clearly it is because the postage as well is only like $3.39, which realistically, if somebody actually bought that, you'd be pretty worried about the postage, wouldn't you? But yeah, no, that was a fun extra on site. Thanks for putting that one on there. It's good to see these kind of old ones. It's good to play a game How Much again. I'm sure it'll be back at some point, and I'll be out for revenge, as will Ben, or BN, I should say. But before we head off this week, guys, Sai, we'll start with you. Where can we find you, bud, and what you've been up to on your own channel?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at my own channel at Hobby Waffle. Latest video is a Shatterpoint 1 unboxing the Director Krennic box. The Shore Troopers and Death Troopers in that box, as well as Krennic, but talking about scale creep as well. Or maybe not so much scale creep, it's just the fact that when you look at the images of the miniatures online, Krennic is shorter than the Death Troopers and the Shore Troopers, but when you actually get the miniature in hand, he is ginormous. So whether it's some sort of production issue or what, I don't know, but it's crazy. But yeah, on that video, I went looking at all the sprues, went through all the cards and all the rules, and then built the miniatures as well. So that's my latest one. And then you can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky as Hobby Waffle. I'll be on there, and then on Discord as well.
Cool. BN, where can we find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and my own channel. All of them as 90% Geek. I am going to hopefully be getting my first Space Marine 2 video up this week. So if anyone's interested in that, come over and have a look. And otherwise, I'm sure at some point in the near future, I'll have a video up on some of the epic stuff that I've been working on.
Yeah, that'd be good. Awesome stuff. And as for me, find me over on Blue Sky at the moment, is where I mostly am posting stuff, and obviously in our Morehammer Discord. And of course, I'll be here on the Morehammer podcast. But until next time, guys, as always, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Happy wargaming. See you later.
Bye.